What's going on? Welcome back to the channel on this very special unboxing video, unboxing/assembly. We're going to do it live. You're going to get to see all the mistakes, all the goods and the bads, and hopefully this will allow you to have a good, honest assessment of how easy is this big thing to assemble. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am a huge Marvel vs. Capcom fan. I've got the games from PlayStation all the way up to PS2 and PS3. Really enjoy the series. Now, for the most part, the best arcade port you could have found was the one for the Dreamcast. Okay, you kind of see that. The Dreamcast version is by far the best port of this game. But to really get the full experience, you need to have an arcade stick, and that's just an arcade stick. That's just too big. So I thought a better way to handle that would be to get something even bigger. Ta-da! Here it is, the Arcade1up. This is the Marvel vs. Capcom version of the X-Men vs. Street Fighter. This is like the special edition. You're going to get a stool with this. It's going to have a lit marquee and a lit control panel. So I'm excited to get into it. Now, you're not really going to need any special tools. Arcade1up tells you just need a screwdriver. Okay? That's a screwdriver. So you're not going to need this. And you're not going to need a drill. Okay, just a screwdriver. Now, I'm going to have a few other things. When I do my assemblies, I like to have a couple different things. I like to have, for the wooden dowels, I like to do a little bit of wood glue. Just a little bit. And as we go through that, you'll see it's just a small dab. It's just something to kind of keep it all tight and keep it from pulling out. The reason that's important is because these things are small and light so that you can move them. So that if you got people coming over for Christmas or gatherings or whatever, you can pick this thing up, move it from this room to that room or whatever. So it's good to have everything kind of together as tight as possible. Another thing you want to use, when we're going to have metal-to-metal contact, metal threads going into a metal nut or insert, you want Loctite. I use blue Loctite, not the red stuff. The red stuff's a little too aggressive. The blue stuff's going to be fine. Like, so this is just a little bit of insurance to make sure that it all sort of works, stays together. The last thing we're going to need is a knife. Okay, we're going to use the knife to cut through all the tape. Obviously, one thing to be mindful of, you have very nice graphics you spent a lot of money on if you bought this cabinet, and you don't want to scratch them. You don't want to cut through them because it's very difficult to replace and repair. So make sure you're cutting through tape, and we're going from flap to flap, okay, between the cardboard flaps. So let me show you a little bit of the trailer, reset the camera, and we're going to get right into it. And here you go. All right, here we go, kids. We're doing it live. So this is the box. Weighs about 92 pounds. That was the shipping weight that they said on the UPS tracking information. So it's pretty heavy. There are a couple handles that are fairly pretty nice, pretty rugged. I don't know if you can see that right there, one on each end. So it's possible to get this thing. It's best to have two people just because it is a little long and awkward. All right, so let's go. Cutting through the flaps, cutting through the tape. I really hope this is packaged well because there is a little hole in the back. I guess UPS got a little excited when they dropped it off, but let's put the knife down so I don't stab myself. That would not be cool. Nice. Okay, so the box just opens from this end, and you can see that everything is really packaged well, actually. So I had I've got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Arcade 1 cabinet. It's pretty good. Arcade1up. It's pretty good. It was packaged well, but I don't know that it was packaged this well. Wow. Okay, so I know I was talking smack, saying that I wasn't going to use instructions, but I may not be able to do that on this one. We're going to keep these close by, just in case. All right, put that there. many boxes. Each box is taped, individually numbered. That's good. Tell you what, let's just cut them open. Cut them open as we work. See what we got here. Once again, being careful not to dig in here too much with the blade. Cut anything that's. All right, so this looks like this is going to be hardware here. Okay, so box 821002 is going to be your hardware, your power supply. Put that there. And then a few panels. Okay, so we'll put that to the side. There we go. This box is, okay, 821006. So 8210 is going to be, I guess, a designator for this box, and then the other number is going to be, I guess, just calling out each individual box. So we got 02 and we got 06 right here. There we go. Oh, this is a lit marquee. Okay, so I was interested in this because my other arcade did not have a lit marquee. So I had to actually go after market for that lit marquee. But this is interesting. So this is actually like a sealed unit. So it's really thick. Standard one is just the thickness of the MDF itself. Wow. It's pretty cool. So I like that. It's a nice sealed unit. There's no border like you typically have. You know, big black border all the way around. Single connection there. Cool. All right. Set you off to the side. Gonna have a mountain of garbage just out of view. Let's see. So what do we have next? Let's get this guys. There we go. Now we've got the side pieces. This is what I was really concerned about. Getting scratched up. And you know they package this in the center of the box. So it's really impossible to get these things scratched up. Good. So that's going to be your back piece there. Put you off to the side. Our side pieces, we'll just put these over here for just a minute. Put it there. Okay. Looks like the remaining boxes. When you look at it, the number of boxes really isn't that bad. Not that many. So that's cool. We'll just get it down to the boxes instead of opening them up individually. We'll slide this guy out of the way. Okay. What's up first? Let's see. It is exactly like Christmas right now. So, for those of you who didn't see me talk about this in the Bourbon Talks, I pre-ordered this thing back in August, and then I guess because of the Kung flu, they delayed it. I'm not sure if the Kung flu was the reason, but that's what they went with. So it was delayed. Originally, you were supposed to get this thing in October. That turned into November, and then December, and I really had my doubts if I was going to get it this year. Luckily, I got it. All right, so that was probably not the most graceful thing to do, but this is the stool. This is the stool. Wow. So here's the legs. We'll assemble this guy first. Get him out of the way. So once again, okay, so this is you're going to need a hex key with this. But luckily it comes with two in the kit. So let's take a look at this seat. Instructions, we're not going to bother with that. Oh, that's cool. Nice, look at that. Pretty thick. Pretty thick. I hope that it's kind of, it's plasticky, the top is. hope that that is a thick enough plastic to take years of abuse, and I don't have to recover it. But you got your threaded inserts on the bottom there. All right. So let's start with the stool. Let's start with the stool. Again, take the knife. Got a couple zip ties here. I'm gonna cut that. Yes. Let me open up the comments here and see. Yeah, that's an oops. That's what that is. When you pull one thing out and they all fall, that's an oops. So you got me on that one. Luckily it wasn't fragile, right? That would not have been good. Nice shiny chrome. Everything's better with chrome. Chrome just makes everything better. I got your little halo. This should be the footrest. Nice. Okay. This is taking a lot longer than it should. This is like, and this feels like tissue paper. I mean, a little thicker than toilet paper, but kind of the same way. Okay, so what are we going to do here? Because you can tell by the indentation here, this stacks on top of that, like so. And then let's see if this goes on the outside or the inside. I think it goes on the outside. Okay, do I need to cheat already? No, there's... Yeah, that's the outside. Okay. We did it. So far, so good. Man card still intact. Still intact. Okay, so there's 4. Since we're not going to look at the instructions, we got 4 plastic washers. I'm going to assume that goes... Does it go to the bottom, you think? Come on. We've made it this far. Okay, I've got a threaded insert that needs to go. Is it going to go on the inside? Or well, it could go on the inside. See if that'll push all the way through. And then, okay, so we got long bolts and we got short bolts. The short bolts, I think I'm going to go there. Now, wait a minute. What? Look how small. Look at the hole. Look at the hole. Look at that. The bolt doesn't go through there. Oh no! Do I have to read the instructions? No. It can't go anywhere else. They can't go. They can't go. They can't fit through here or on the inside or the outside because it's all indented. So they have to go there, I guess. All right, I'm doing it. That didn't last long, did it? That didn't last long. I'm just curious about the little washers. Was I right or was I wrong? Where did the washers go? They don't even show them. What? See, this is why we refuse to look at the instructions, because they're useless. They really are. So I got the threaded insert on the inside. The bolt goes through the side, so that's right. And the washers are nowhere to be found. Great. Great. Okay, so the long ones are going to go for the top. The short ones are going to go in the side. It goes there. They give me 2 Allen wrenches, but they're both the same size. So, the chances you actually breaking one of these are... Oh, I see. It's keyed on either side. Gotcha. Okay. That's nice. All right. Where are we at time-wise? What is going on? So we're 15 minutes in. My silly little introduction, notwithstanding, we're doing fairly well. I'm going to snug that up. I'm not going to get crazy on that just yet. I want to get them all connected first. get it lined up. And then on this last bolt, I'm actually going to show you what I'm doing so you can see what's involved here. Just in case you also don't want to read the instructions, like me. Because when you are a man, you don't read the instructions and you just complain about the engineers that designed it, the same engineers that included instructions. You just complain that they didn't do it right. At least that's what I do. Okay, so when you're assembling the legs, you have this, which is like a collar, like a sleeve. So you're going to push this through. Let's see if I get a decent shot of that. You're going to push that through here, go through this leg, and that's going to extend into the support piece or the footrest, and then push that through, line it up. Leave the other bolts a little loose, so this is a little bit easier. And then you can see you've got a spot to thread this in, like so. Use an Allen wrench, a little bit easier. Tighten it up, and then once you have them all threaded, you can go ahead and tighten this up. You know what I need to do is I forgot to use my Loctite, so let me just bear with me just 1 second while I give a little bit of Loctite to the metal threads, especially with these stools. You know you're going to be moving this thing around, so it's not a bad idea to just hit it up with a little bit of thread locker. I like to use this paste. You can get a tube, and you're just going to put a little dab. That's all you want, just a little dab. So we'll go back. That's just going to help this stay together a little longer. So I think that the estimate for this thing is actually 45 minutes to get it fully assembled. So we'll see if we can't at least meet that. I'm not going to try to surpass it necessarily. I want this to go together correctly. And if I got to stop and take a few minutes to show you something that I think is weird, we're going to do that. Tell you what, I've got to get a better camera. Just a little too blurry there. All right. And yes, it is a little frustrating to go back and undo what you've done, but it's worth it in the long run to, keep this thing together, not rattling around, because that's also frustrating. Especially for something you're going to sit on. Make that nice and tight. Next one. Loosen this one up. I just preached about this at the beginning of the video and didn't even bother. What the hell? I know this is an odd time to stream, but this is the only time I could really reserve my own living room. That makes sense. And which one was it? These two. Last but not least is get this fourth one here, and then we'll be good, and we can secure our seat to the stool, and we can continue on with the fun stuff. Not this isn't just awesome. I'm sure everybody is thrilled watching a guy put together a stool. I know that's fun. But if you're at work and you're watching this, I guess at least I'm distracting you from doing actual work. And that's all I can really ask for. Really. Okay, so we got my bolts here. Our mystery washers that have holes that are way too small for anything to go through, we're going to set those aside because I'm sure they may come in handy another time. I'm going to take the seat, actually put the seat down, and then line up my holes like this. We're going to use the same tool that came with the kit, a little bit of Loctite. Stab that in there. One at a time. Hey. Hope everybody's having a good Monday so far. Hopefully everybody's getting ready to burn up a lot of vacation they've been saving all year. It's the best part of December is the amount of work you don't do. I'd also be careful when you go into these threads too. Not exactly sure. I think that's just wood. So these inserts are just in the wood, and you could get a little too aggressive and actually strip those out. So there we go. Got it. I had to kind of shift that a little bit. With these tight, the base was a little off. So, and that was the do not remove under penalty of law sticker. The same thing they put on mattresses. I don't know why. I don't know why they do that. It's mine. I can do what I want to. If I want to take it off, I'm going to take it off. Never understood that. Okay. So no, I did not destroy the seat. It was just a sticker. They have another one here that says the upholstery material in this product contains no added flame retardant chemical. So if you're a smoker, I wouldn't recommend smoking on this because it is not fire resistant or retardant. But don't worry, it continues to say that the state of California has updated the flammability standard and determining that the fire safety requirements for this product can be met without adding flame retardant chemicals. I wonder how they determine that. The state has identified many flame retardant chemicals as being known to or strongly suspected of adversely impacting human health. Well, you know what else is going to impact human health? Being set on fire. It's not going to be a good thing. Okay, so I am not going to over tighten these. Just going to snug them up. So I really don't want to over tighten and rip that out because once that's done, I mean, that's it really. Little half twist. Okay, so and with that, there you have it. Your gaming stool. Nice. Okay, set this off to the side. Let's work on the big stuff. Let's work on the big stuff. All right. Next box. Is this one? This is where we may have to start laying some stuff out to figure out what we need next. All right, we are 24 minutes in, and we still have not used the instructions for the main arcade unit. We're not even going to count the bar stool thing. All right, that was a fluke. All right, that will never happen again. 24 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to beat it. Come on. Yes. Nice. Nice. We got a stack of blue. I believe this is the riser. Here we go. Awesome. I actually wanted this next. Let's see if there's any hardware. There's not. So there's no hardware in this box. We got to go to our main hardware kit. But this is the ride. This is the thing that the arcade cabinet sits on that gets it to a reasonable height. At this point, I'm not exactly sure why. You have to have the riser separately. I mean, at this point, let's just go ahead and just make the sides taller, right? Makes sense to me. Now, we do want to be careful. There's artwork on this also. So, if you can get away with a small slice, you'll be better off. Just don't run the risk of actually cutting into that artwork. I'm telling you, that would really, really suck, because this thing has artwork all over it. The back is black melamine, I think is what that's called. And then you got this faux T-molding. Blue, looks really good. That's going to be your front, I believe. Your sides and back. Oh, branding all over this thing. Garbage over there. There you go. There's side piece there. And the side piece there. And you'll notice as the cabinet goes together, and this is just the back. Nothing on it but a little bit of marble branding right there. You'll notice as the cabinet goes together, everything's divided in Marvel and Capcom sides. So this is the Marvel side, Capcom side. Same thing down here, the artwork here. And then on the sides, you'll see it's really, I don't know if this was on the original game artwork. I'm not sure that it was. But you can tell on the Capcom side, the characters that are still in frame are kind of blacked out. Okay. So let's get into the hardware kit. AC power supply. Set this right here. We're not quite ready for that. Here's a Y connector, a splitter. I think I know what that's going to be for. That's probably going to be the power for the light up marquee and the lit deck protector. This is probably your audio connector here. So you've got 3 wiring little harnesses, connectors, your bed tops for your control deck, which I think we're gonna be swapping those out later. This looks like excuse me. Looks like an anchor kit where you can anchor this to the wall. Must be some kind of safety compliant thing. We're not going to do that. Of course, we have our brackets for our monitor, screws, wooden dowels, a few extra parts and pieces, some more screws. These are these actually go under the shaft of the controllers of the joysticks, and then your bat top set on top of that. Put those up there, and more screws. Okay. So, how does this goes on the back here? This is going to be these. This must be on the inside. Okay, this here, this here. This screw holes there. This is your side here. Okay, this is the thing. See, this is going to go into. It's going to go like this. Yeah. Okay. So you got screws go directly into that then, right? Wood into wood. Feeling the pressure. Feeling the pressure. We may have to dip it in the instructions just a little bit to make sure I'm doing this right. Because that looks like that's just going to be a screw going into the side like that. And then these boards will go like this into the center. Like so. Like that right there. Like that right there. I believe. Maybe. Possibly. Tell you what. Let's bite the bullet. Let's take a peek. This doesn't count. This doesn't count. This doesn't count. You know about third-degree burns? That's not good. That's not good. It's a story I'd like to hear about. As long as you're willing to share. I don't know. Third-degree burn. That could be a horrendous story. Oh, making it turkey? Damn, dude. Okay, so what we're going to do is look at the instructions, but we're going to curse the people who wrote the instructions so that we pretend like this is all their fault and they're not helpful at all, but in all actuality, they really are. Okay. Yeah, see, they claim that all you need is a screwdriver. a Phillips head screwdriver. Which, that's, to be fair, yeah, that's probably right. Okay, this is for the main cabinet. I don't want that yet. I want to do the riser. Where's the riser? See, here we go. Now I'm going to complain. Where's the riser instructions? Is it a separate book? What are you doing, Arcade1up? What are you doing? Why do I have everything? Let's see, owner's manual there. Okay, so I don't see any instructions for the riser unless there's a separate spot back here. Yeah, see these things. These are anchors for the wall. No, we're not going to install. We're not going to do that. Assembly instructions. Yeah, I don't see. Oh, okay, they have the. That's the arcade portion. That's the actual cabinet. Let me just keep going. And the riser instructions should be in the back. Maybe. No? Yeah, here it is. Okay. Oh, okay. It's one page. It's one page. Okay, fine. Fine, that's good. So we got wooden dowels, and then we have screws. Okay. Yeah, so everything I need is on top. I need 16 dowels, 20 screws, and 4 of the other screws, I think. All right, so let's see. So we're going to break out our wood glue. And we got our dowels. Got the packaging open. Trying like hell not to kill ourselves. All right, here we go. Here we go. Let's get a handful of dowels. Now let's start putting them in. Okay. RP goes in the middle. Yep. They all have dowels. This is going to be super fun. Tip is a little. Clean that out a little bit. All right, now we should be ready. Now we should be ready to go. Don't stand beside furnaces when they explode. Good to know. Everyone watching, that's good to know. Write that down on a sticky note. Maybe put that in your phone. Something you should really never, ever forget. I got one question though. How do you know it's about to explode? Is there an indicator? Okay, just like that. This is a full-time job here, just putting glue in dowels. I'm not sure what their official position is on the old wood glue on the dowels, but I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to do this. This is pretty important. It locates the pieces. I will say that the dowels are a little small for the holes. Usually with a wood dowel, you have to kind of tap them in place. That's really not the case here. So good thing is my wood glue is really not getting everywhere like it usually does because we're not super tight with our dowels. We got some slop in there. Okay, so more glue, more dowels. If you would be so kind as to tap that like button, I really would appreciate it. Helps out a lot with the channel. And I'm probably doing this for a little bit. Looks like I'm not going to be able to break or meet that 1 hour deadline. Well, 35 minutes may not be too bad. But total time may go over an hour, so if you don't mind sharing the video, that'd be great. Be super awesome. If you could do that, that'd be great. This is where you need a kid. This is where you need a guy, a coworker, to just do this for you while you continue on with something else. Okay, so those two are done. Go to the center. Technically, this doesn't count. This looking at this does not count. Does not count. Apparently, will make a funny noise. But when your 5 noise changes, maybe. Gotcha. Good to know. Good to know. And then we got, this is RR. Yep. And they have, okay, yeah, these also have, okay, so you're going to have your two middle pieces that have no artwork at all are going to have dowels. And then your side panels are also going to have dowels. Because I think the front panel actually pushes into it. And the rear panel does the same. So, once again, it doesn't count that I looked at the instructions. It doesn't, it's not, doesn't count. Yeah, and even on these side panels, you can see the holes a little too big, but the dowel isn't quite big enough to take up all the space within the hole that it's being inserted into. So the glue is, I think it's, I would definitely recommend it, to be honest with you. I definitely would. Because it's just fitting so loose in there that you're going to want a little something. They locate each piece, and then they also provide a little bit of strength. The screw really is like the clamping force. It draws the pieces together, but the dowels do serve that purpose also. All right, here's our last side piece. And then our dowels should be complete at this point. No more dowels for the riser. A couple screws. I'll say a couple screws. We're going to get this. Get the appropriate screw that is needed. And then put all this together. And then we can get to the fun stuff, which is actually the cabinet. But, you know, you gotta realize that this stuff takes a little bit of time. You know, your stool and the a little bit of squeeze out there. Let's just wipe that off. Your riser and your stool is going to take some time. Not a ton, but just gives you an idea of how long you're actually going to be putting this together. So I've got the one Ninja Turtle cabinet, and I do like it. I mean, it's a great cabinet. I really wanted a 4-player cabinet, but I'm disappointed that it only had 2 games. So what I would love to see is that they give you the option to add games to an existing cabinet. Now, the Ninja Turtle cabinet may not ever have that functionality because it doesn't have any Wi-Fi, but this cabinet does. This cabinet has Wi-Fi. Once again, doesn't count. This is just a riser, so it doesn't count. Hey, Will, how are you, buddy? And what on earth? Yes, sir. This is the Marvel versus Capcom arcade cabinet, buddy. That's right. You just tuned into the live unboxing and assembly. And we're also going to test this thing out, too. So I just put together the stool. I'll show you this real quick. Just put the stool together. Very nice. Got the riser I'm putting together now. About to screw this together. And then we're going to actually work on the cabinet itself. So without further delay, let's put these together. We'll put the center sections together real quick. So we got marble. And there are little plastic standoffs, and the blue trim will face down. Okay, so you just have raw wood sticking up. And then as we put these together, you'll locate those just like that, and that'll fit together nice and flush. And so you've got 2 holes for the dowels to slide into, and then next to those are 2 more holes for the screws themselves. So let's go ahead and, once again, raw wood up top. Insert those dowels there. And then let's get our screws. Number 9, or G. G. We need G screws, and this is either a G or a 6 or 9. I wouldn't recommend using G as a label. What about just numbers? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with numbers? That would make a little more sense to me. Okay, so we got our run out of room up here. All right, so once again, we're not going to use power tools. We're taking a metal screw, okay, metal threads, and going into wood. You do not want to over tighten this at all. So let's Phillips head. Go ahead and start that into the hole. You can even pull it away a little bit to see that you're there, and then just by hand, just want to run this in. The hole is pre-drilled, which means that there is a hole that's drilled that's smaller than the screw itself. This can allow this to go together fairly easily. Doesn't take a ton of hand strength, and you just want to just tighten it till you can't really tighten anymore by hand. That's it. Don't go any farther than that. You can see that now we've got all those dowels in place. This part's going to go pretty quickly. And the reason I say, listen, you could put this together with a power tool, but I strongly discourage that, just because you're going to have to make sure it's got to have either a torque setting, and you've got to really, really pay attention to it. And it's one of those things where if you screw up and you go too far, you're kind of done. Because at that point, now you got to get a longer screw, and the head has to fit in the same recess as the recess that is pre-drilled into this cabinet on the side. And it's just a pain, and it's going to completely kill your project. You're going to be stuck there waiting for a solution, especially if it's the riser, because this is the thing that the arcade sits on. So even if you learned your lesson, you don't use your power tool for the rest of the project, you're still kind of in bad shape, because you're going to have to take your arcade machine and put it on like a couch or a box or something, or a chair, to play it, because these things really they're way too short. Side piece, they're way too short without the riser. They really are. It's not really doable. You have to have it on something. So, we go back to the thing I said before. It's like, why at this point, why even have risers? Why not just bite the bullet and make our side pieces as tall as they should be, or as tall as they are with the risers themselves? My number 1 fan is over there trying to distract me, but I am a professional. Can't be done. Can't be done. Can't be done. But no, you can really accomplish this with just a screwdriver, and you'll be fine. So don't be intimidated. You find one. This wasn't really. I wouldn't call this affordable. This was a special edition. It was $500. And when you hear the squeaking, you're good. This one was $500, which is a little bit pricey, I know, but you can usually pick up just the cabinet itself for $299. Not this configuration. They have an X-Men versus Street Fighter model, and you can get that thing just a plain cabinet by itself. But you're still going to need that riser, and the riser is $50. So But they have other cabinets. The original Street Fighter II cabinet, if you can find it, is usually on sale. It's really affordable, $150 US. Some of these actually went for $50 one time. I don't know what was going on with that. Walmart was just discounting the hell out of them. So, you know, almost no one really got those for $50. And as you're using your screwdriver, you're twisting, you're trying to put a lot of torque on it, don't slip and stab your graphics too. That would also not be a good thing. And with that, the sides are done. And I'm going to put on the back piece, and then we're going to leave the front piece for the very end. Now remember, you still have dowels that are sort of slid in there with glue on them. So don't tip the whole piece over if you're working at home in your living room. You don't want those to come out and then make a mess and get a little glue on the floor. Your wife will get mad. It's just not good. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Just doing the back piece now. Will, do they have these where you're from, buddy? These are pretty, I think they're really popular in the States. I don't know that it's actually. Gotta have many tools. Gotta have many tools. But in some case, the simplest tools are the best. No, I didn't know, Will, if you knew that these were available or if they were available. These are available in in most Walmarts here in the States. And because they're into that retailer, I think they're pretty popular. I think that without people walking by and seeing these things, it's possible that no one would even know they existed. And to be fair, this is really for the arcade enthusiasts. And they're going to be on YouTube, and they're going to be looking for products like this. So, but I think that the impulse buy is a real thing, and I think that if someone has a man cave and maybe they've got a pool table, maybe they've got a foosball table or whatever, they're gonna want something a little bit different. Nice. That looks awesome. Okay. At this point now you can set it up. This back's all screwed together. We'll really be careful we don't scratch this, because this is the front part of the riser. This is the piece that everyone's going to see. Two more screws in the base of the riser. For the most part will be done. I've got a couple strips I have to put in there, but for the most part the overall construction is going to be done. This thing is going to be awesome. These screws are different than the ones that you're going to use the larger pieces. They go into the arcade upper portion, the actual cabinet itself. These are more like a wood screw, I guess, because we're going directly into wood. And maybe over there we're maybe doing metal on metal. I can't remember. So I've got the one cabinet that I've done. So I don't have a ton of experience, but I have some. Slipped off there, almost. Luckily I went the other way. Went that way and scratch it. No, it looks good. I mean, this looks awesome. That's here's the front. You can't see because of light. There you go. And then this side, Capcom side. Nice. All right, we have these two. This doesn't count. This is glancing. I'm not really using the. It's just so these are going to go like this. These strips go front to back, and the black melamine will face up like a little plastic coating. And these use, are those the H screws? I've got 4 H screws. Where did the H go? Oh, okay, the H. So there are holes on the side. There's separate screws that actually attach the cabinet to the riser base. Once again, that didn't count. That did not count. All right, so we should just have 4 more, and then the riser will be done. And then we can go on to the exciting stuff. Those of you that have stayed this long, don't leave just yet. The fun stuff's going to happen. And then when I'm done with this, I've got a cord here. We're going to plug this in, and I'm going to give you a little bit of gameplay. And then I may do a more in-depth review some other time. I think that I'm not going to mod this thing like crazy because I think that it's, I mean, the artwork's going to stay the same. The light up marquee, that looks good. I'm gonna leave that. That's gonna stay the same. I may change the speakers. I gotta put my ears on it and see what they sound like, because I've heard some people say that at high volume these things don't sound very good, and to be fair, they're just cheap little speakers, and you can swap those out for some kind of two-way speaker or something with a little more range. So yeah, it's coming together. It is coming together. We are at 52 minutes right now. So like I said, minus my little introduction, you can count on this. I don't see how. I mean, an hour maybe if you were booking and had experience, but all right. So with that, our riser is complete. We'll set this guy off to the side. All right. Now comes the fun part. This is awesome. All right, so let's take a knife. Gentle. Be careful. Don't want to hurt you. Don't want to damage the art. This is the main side piece, side panel. You do not want this to be damaged anyway. They are individually wrapped up, which is good. Very nice. That's about a little over 4 feet tall, is what that is. So take this out of the bag with what, so you can get an idea. It looks good. I mean, it really does. I like the graphics for sure. Let's fight that. I'm not going to get the knife out. I don't want to run the risk of scratching it. So here's a profile. You can see that this is the Marvel side. All the Capcom characters that are in this frame are black and white. It's a nice little touch. It's cool. I like that. Okay. Stand you back up here. This guy out. And I got to hand it to them. I mean, Arcade1up is doing a much better job of the packaging. Everything is protected pretty well. This is a little frustrating. There we go. And you get the same thing going on here for the artwork. Marvel characters are grayed out. Capcom. This is nice. No, it looks good. Looks good. No scratches, nothing. So far so good. So what's in this box? Okay, so box number 821002. This is the same one that had some of the electronics in it. This is going to have your speaker panel. You should see the pile of garbage. So you've got, these are some small panels. You can see the speakers here. Speaker panels. I'm going to go ahead and open up these. We've got some cross pieces here. Okay, this is what I was talking about before. These, you're not going to be going into wood. Okay, you're going to be, that little insert, we're going to have metal to metal. So we're also going to use our Loctite to make sure that we have some little more insurance that this thing doesn't pull apart. McKinney, what's going on, man? How you doing? Yeah, I'm hard at work, brother. Hard at work putting this thing together. So I've got the stool and the riser done, and now we're actually to the fun stuff, the meat and potatoes of the assembly. We're going to put together the actual arcade cabinet. Once again, this doesn't count. This is just me glancing briefly at the instructions. Okay, so we've got several cross pieces here. I'm going to put these up here. This should be part of the speaker panel. A portion of it, I'm not exactly sure. None of these have graphics on them, so you can cut through this okay, with the exception of this front piece here. But I think that's actually the top. This might be the upper portion of the cabinet, which would make sense because the speakers are up top. So, got some wires here. Okay. You can see how really, really tiny these speakers are. Okay. Here's your audio connector there. So this is really, these speakers are very, very tiny. So I'll have to, after I get the whole thing assembled, I'll take some time to see if I can't source some thin panels here, black and white. See if I can't source a better option. In the States, we have like crushfield.com, and they have a lot of speakers. It's not just car audio, it's home audio also. But they have a pretty good website that I use. Nice. Okay, so we know about the marquee. We'll put the marquee over here by I'm going to face that against the arm of the couch there. Okay, I have 2 boxes left. That's it. This should be every cross piece. This, I believe, is the control panel, the control deck. We'll see. So once again, the blades going in. I'm cutting between the flaps, and then I'm just going to do that because if this is the, yep, it is the control deck. This is also packaged very well. Nice. Styrofoam on either end. Styrofoam on the posts for the joysticks. The whole thing is wrapped up nice. Oh, okay. I can't remember. I think my deck protector was not pre-installed on my Ninja Turtles cabinet, but it could be that this one is pre-installed because it's got the light. Let's see. The power connector here. And this is basically, I believe, an LED strip, but it's got the, see that, it's tough to see right there, Arcade1up, and then there's a clear protective film. That's okay. This will lift off. Okay, and so with this out of the way, we'll put it back on. After I peel the protective layer off, you can see how that looks. I like that. Faux diamond plate. You've got, these feel pretty good. quickie. And then on off is, this is a momentary switch. So you have lock to lock, on off, and you have your momentary volume up and down. Similar, this is what they're doing with all the new wave stuff. But this looks good. Punch and kick. This is not Sanwa, this is not Hap, you know, the highest quality stuff, but this is it's good. It's good. Like that. There's your main connector there. So we'll set this off to the side for now. Out of the way. There. Put the protector back on it. Okay, so then this must be the rest of the cross members and side pieces and whatnot. So here we go. Here we go. Let's still be careful. Not too much. Okay. So the top of this is going to have styrofoam in it. And just to review, control panel was in box 03. And the last box I have is 01. So box 01 should have mostly structural stuff. Okay, this is going to also have your monitor as well. So get back in the center of the frame. How about that? So I'm just going to do this. Keep a hand on it. Throw the last box out of the way. And you've got your monitor. Throw that out of the way. Throw that out of the way. Throw that out of the way. Some more artwork. So as we take the plastic off that, let's be careful of that. Put you over there. This is going to be, I believe this is the bottom. This is your main bottom piece. So over there. And then this is our monitor. Okay, you can see the Wi-Fi antenna there. This is, I think the first Arcade1up cabinet that had the Wi-Fi was the NBA Jam 4-player cabinet. And the main purpose of that is for online play. They have world leaderboards. And then also you can get, it also allows you to have updates sent to you. Okay, this is something, okay, so here's the, it's very thin. Your PCB is in here. This is actually your circuit board. It has all the your game and everything, and then your the driver board for the LCD itself. You got this protective layer on, which is great, except they don't peel it off around the screws. They just drive the screws in. So if you were to peel this off, which we're going to have to do now, you're going to have to take these screws out, or just back them off enough to where you can get the film off. Don't use a knife. Just use like your fingernails or something, maybe like a soft plastic spudger, just to get it started. You don't want to scratch this. You really don't want to scratch this. This is the thing you're going to be looking at. Okay, I didn't pull the screw out, and it came off fairly cleanly. But yeah, you're going to have, see, that's going to bug me. That's going to bug me having a little bit of wrap on there, but here, I'll show you. It's very satisfying. Like film on a new smartphone. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what happens. Little pieces here and there. See, you're always gonna have that. So what I'm gonna do is just peel it off, and then where they're bad, I'm gonna have to back the screw out just enough so I can peel it off. But that's pretty awesome. The first generation cabinet, you had to actually put the Lexan on over the screen, and that really sucks because there was always a piece of dirt or something or lint that you would always, I mean, inevitably it was going to happen. That would get inside. And you can see you've got a lot of the moves for the characters down here. I like those little touches. I hate it when this is just blank and bland. So I'm going to take my screwdriver very carefully and just back it off enough so I can kind of get in there and get that out. I'm gonna have to take this one out. Don't take more than one out because you don't want the Lexan to slide to move position, and you don't want anything to get underneath here, because if you get a piece of dirt or dust or lint under there, you're going to be staring at it as you're playing, and it's really frustrating. Really frustrating, to say the least. Okay, this one here. There's a couple that I'm not going to have to pull up, but unfortunately, I think I have to go all the way up and just be, like I said, just be really careful. You have a sharp screwdriver that could very easily scratch this Lexan. And then the screw itself is also sharp. So 106. So I think we're past my little intro. So 1 hour to get this done. You'd have to, like I say, you really have to be flying to get this done in an hour. And it's not a complaint. It's just pointing out a fact. And I think that, you know, most people aren't going to have tons of these laying around, where you're just going to have so many of these that it's not special to you. I think whoever buys one of these it's going to be a big deal for them. It's going to be special. I have two, and I doubt that I'm going to have any more until I get a bigger house. Probably. They do have racing cabinets, and they're coming out with a Big Buck Hunter, which is a light gun game. I'm not into that game, but what I am into is the possibilities of other games coming out. Maybe like Time Crisis would be awesome. House of the Dead, really anything with that light gun technology. Because of LCDs, you can't just use a traditional light gun like your Nintendo Zapper from back in the day. You just can't do it. And there's a lot of people out there that actually tell you why and how and all that, but because of just the refresh rates and all that for LCD monitors, you can't do it. So Sinden is a company that's come out with a technology that actually makes using a light gun on a LCD possible. So I'm anxious to see what other games they have, what they're going to come out that's going to use that technology. The racing game they came out with was Outrun, which is one of the original. It was really a popular mainstream game in the probably late 80s. Early 90s, and once again, it's cool. It's very, very retro, but it's not for me. But if you go with like a Ridge Racer arcade cabinet, a driving cabinet like that, I'm all about that. That would be really fun. You know, other ones would be like Daytona USA. I mean, but I think you got to stay. In the 90s, really. Going any farther than that, and you'll be dealing with a generation that doesn't really have that super fond recollection of arcades, enough to where they're going to purchase some of this expensive hardware you're selling. But I could be wrong. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you remember it. Yeah, Outrun was fun, and with the Outrun cabinet, you actually have 3 games. So I love that's an experience you can't have with a console. I mean, yeah, you could buy a steering wheel and you can buy light guns. Well, you could buy light guns back in the day and simulate that experience, but the best way to do that is have a dedicated cabinet, in my opinion. Next thing you know, you'll be talking about Streets of Rage. All right, buddy. You say that. Give me just 1 second. For all my loyal subscribers that are tuning in. Will, do you have Streets of Rage 4, buddy? This is limited run games. This is a collector's edition. It's got all this stuff in it, but it's for PS4. I'm not sure if it came out for Xbox or not. Yeah, Streets of Rage was my jam, dude. I love that game. All right, now I think we've got everything assembled or disassembled. As far as the packaging, everything's prepped. That's prepped. We got this. Let's go ahead and take this out of the wrap, and then let's put it together. This stuff comes off pretty simple. The one thing this is your kick plate. This is the front part, the front lower portion. going to go down there. I wish I like that you got the the logos of all the different games that come on it. Which, for those of you who don't know, these are the 5 games that come on it. These are all arcade fighters. This was a Super NES game. I think they really missed the mark here. This should have been the arcade version of Alien vs. Predator. If you wanted to have a side-scrolling game, a beat 'em up, that's what you should have had. And this could have been the Versus cabinet. You could have had all the Versus games that were available on Capcom's CPS2 system. CPS2 was the Capcom Play System 2. It was the technology they used for all their arcade games. All right, so let's start with G. G is here. No, I am not looking at the instructions. No. Why would I be doing that? Okay. I think it's, all kidding aside, I think it's helpful to actually look at the instructions, especially if this is your first time. It's not super complicated, but some of the pieces are pretty similar. And when you got pieces like K and L, other than, this is white, and the holes are all sort of in the same spot. And you don't want to mix that up. You don't want to mix that up. We're doing our dowels again. A little glue here. Like so. We're going to have, there's a slot in here. Make sure we've got that facing down. I think probably one of the other panels is going to slide into that. Let's continue. Da-da-dum. La-da-dee, la-da-dee, la-da-dum. Hey, Will, if you're still here, what time is it there, bud? Make sure you put these in the right hole. I put that in the wrong slot. And that's where the screw goes. Yeah, I did it here too. That's another thing you got to pay attention to. These holes are roughly the same size. So you've got a slot for your screw that's going to go in. Yeah, I was just curious what time it is there, Will. Because it is roughly noon here. No, it's only 11:13 on the East Coast in the States. Okay, so we got those dowels in. Let's go to the next piece, the next page of the instructions that I'm not looking at. We're going to actually break out one of our side panels. And I don't think it matters which side. So I'm going to use this side so that you can actually see what I'm doing. I'll start with the other side. You're going to miss all the fun stuff. So it looks like the slot. Yeah, you want to have the slot here. And there's a routed slot on the bottom. Right there. Put that in the back facing up. Let me see. 413 here now. Oh, 8:50. Oh, you must be a West Coaster, huh? Oh, no, that's not West Coast. West Coast would still be, they're 4 hours? No, they're 3 hours. Early morning. Okay, so once again, we use our dowels to locate it, to locate the panel, and we put a couple screws in there, and don't drop it like I just did. Or if you do, just at least have your leg there to catch it. And we need B. B is what we need. 8 a.m. You're up early. Same thing. Phillips head screwdriver. Run those in. And before I do that, get some Loctite. This is where having this paste comes in handy. I can just hold it here and I can run the screw back and forth. If I had a liquid, I'd have to dab it on it, and I don't. It's going to require too many hands. So I've already got to use my mouth for one. So a little bit of Loctite on those threads. Once again, you're doing this by hand, you can maybe go a little tighter because you're going into metal studs, or I'm sorry, metal threads. And there's a piece in there that will allow you to torque on this a little bit more. Still not necessary to use a screw gun at all. I wouldn't do that. You know, or any kind of impact or anything, or a drill. That's not necessary. Your hands may get a little tired if you're going to try to get all this done quickly. You know, if you're going to have a riser and then a stool and then this actual cabinet piece itself. But you can just take a break. I'm not going to take a break because I'm on camera. I'm trying to pretend like this is easy. Okay, so now we're going to get to the K, K, and L. I'm glad this wasn't 3 Ks. A little bit uncomfortable. All right, and we're going to put dowels in these, and then you're going to have one screw in the middle. One thing to note, if you can see that slot right there? Okay, if you try to run your screw in there, and for whatever reason it doesn't tighten up, it could be that slot isn't up and down. The slot indicates sort of the directions of the threads. So if this slot is crooked, or if it's off, or if it's 90 out, you're not going to be able to thread into it. So just take a flat blade screwdriver and just turn that to where it's in line with your screw, and you should be good. I haven't had that problem yet, but it's just something to be aware of if you find you're having an issue. That could be part of the problem. All my 500 dowels here. Never done live streaming in the morning. I was curious if anyone would show up. Glad y'all did. Thanks. If not, I'm sure people are going to watch it on the playback. It's nice to have somebody here talking. Well, you're not talking, I'm talking, but commenting back and forth. Using that glue sparingly, not going crazy with the glue. Crazy glue. Sorry, bad joke. Mike Drop, what's up, man? Thanks. Yeah, it's just something to be aware of if you're putting this together. Not everybody is super handy. Not everybody has a job where they constantly work with their hands. So this could be a big project for someone to put together, and just one of those things to be aware of. It's not a knock on anybody, no, not at all. It's just kind of a fact of life. And I don't want anybody to be intimidated because this is a really cool thing to have in your house if you've got a little extra space, and maybe you have a small man cave or an office, and you just don't have room for a pool table. Well, what else can you have? You could have one of these arcade machines. Maybe if there's a game that you liked from back in the day, you could have that. It's a unique experience. I mean, everything else, what's funny is, games are moving away. We're getting away from physical media like crazy. Everything's downloadable. Everything's digital. The game I play most of all is a game on my iPad. There's no physical media there. There's nothing to purchase or buy and have and hold on to like, all these old games back in the day, When you're on eBay, you're looking for games and they have to be complete, that you want to have it has to come with the case. It has to come with the manual. It has to come with the artwork. If you're going to think about getting top dollar for the game. And now that's just not the case. And I think that you begin to sort of lose a little something. If you're a fan of a game, you want to display, let's say you beat the game or you're going to move on to something else. You want to, just show your fandom about the game. So, part of that is going to be take the game and put it on a shelf and show it off. But if there's no case, and I think that unfortunately is just sort of it's the nature of the beast. We talk about movie theaters in the same way, dying. It's a trend that I think it's kind of inevitable. I mean, it's more efficient, to not have to physically print out a disc and the manual and a case and ship it to a store, and now I've got to go to the store and find the thing and all that. I can just hit a button and download it. It's obviously a convenience thing for sure. I'm not going to try to deny that, but I do think that there's a little something missing. I think that's why you have this resurgence in vinyl. So many people are. You can't tell. Listen, the audio quality of a record is garbage compared to even CDs. But MP3s. Those are the high def audio files out there that are even bigger files than MP3. And I'm sure there is some quality difference there. But basically, the point is that people are getting into something not because it's superior, but because there's a tactility to it, if that's a word. You can touch it, you can feel it, it's part of the experience. It's not just enjoy that thing immediately. And I download music all the time. I'm not trying to knock downloading music or downloading games or anything. I'm not trying to pretend I'm a purist in that respect. But once again, not looking at the instructions. This is just this is helpful hints that a guy just gave me. No, I'm looking at the instructions. That's fine. Okay. All right. So now we're going to take, let's take these panels that we just inserted the dowels into and screw them into their places. We're going to need some of these screws again. Looks like we're going to need one per side. These are going to kind of dangle out a little bit. Let's slide this over a little bit. So just be careful. It's much stronger when everything's locked in. So when you have these pieces sticking out like this, just especially the ones I'm about to insert, where you're going to have one sitting up here, it's going to want to, just sort of hang because of the weight of it. So don't, get in too far into what you're doing and then press on it and destroy the piece. You don't want to do that. And I'm saying this stuff because I've done this. So, okay, so you've got L. L is going to go up here, and I'm going to assume. I don't know that it necessarily specifies. It doesn't call it out. The black part should face out, and the white part's going to face inside. You've got some holes here, though. And on the instructions, it does show the holes facing inwards. That's what we're going to do. All right, once again, a little bit of Loctite on there. Just a little bit, not too much. Line this piece up with the dowels. On that screw inside. Once again, be careful with the artwork on the side. Don't get in such a hurry that you scratch it, you slip with the screwdriver and scratch it. That would be horrible. That would just break your heart. All the money you spent, all the time you're spending assembling this thing. Nice. Okay. I've got to be careful of that and not lean on it. So I'll keep my foot above. And we've got, okay, this has got a hole all the way through it. And the way these not instructions are, looks like the piece is actually facing, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, no matter which way you go, it looks like the hole is directly in the center. So you should be all right to put this in any way. So we'll have one down here on the bottom. And then we're going to have one up here. Okay. Screws. Thread locker. Loctite's actually the brand. So I actually say the brand instead of what it actually is. What it actually is just a thread locker. So use a little bit of that. It's worth it. When you go metal to metal, it's definitely worth it. Nice. One more for this K piece here. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Once again, I'm going to do the shameless plug. Follow me on Parler if you're tired of the censorship media. If you're tired of Twitter banning all of our friends, we're just voicing their opinion. The only way to really speak is to defund them. And the way we defund them is we leave their platforms. So I'm over on Parler, and I'll be there until they screw up, and then I'll go somewhere else. But the show is on Parler. So definitely swing by and check that out. if you're on Parlor, if you don't mind, follow me. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so now the next step is going to be to take our beautiful screen here that I now have stuff on. Maybe I shouldn't have pulled the protective layer off just yet. I don't think it's a big problem, but you're going to lay it down, lay it on like a clean surface. I've got nice soft carpet here. It's not going to scratch anything. But you know, you could maybe get some cardboard out or something, put it on a pillow. But I think this is going to be fine for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to attach these little brackets, these angle brackets, to the back of it. And everything is pre-drilled, so this shouldn't be too difficult. One, looks like there's 5 brackets. I don't know if that's just because one's extra. So we'll set that off to the side. Let me show you what I'm doing here. So what we're going to do, I'm sure you can't see, is in this corner, just like that. Because this is going to screw down, and then you're going to screw through these brackets into the sidewall of the actual arcade itself. So put these back on, and we're going to need, one thing I do like about their manual that I'm not looking at this, but they call out every piece you're going to need up top with a little illustration, and then actually has in this case, it's a letter that corresponds with the piece. It tells you how many you need. So you need 4 of the Fs. You know, not that I'm looking at this. It just fell open. So you know, I just thought I'd point that out. And the bags are labeled. These are C's, E's. Where are? Yeah, those are C's. That's what I need. Okay, let's see. So the brackets are there. We're going into wood, so no Loctite required. And yeah, the screwdriver fits okay. I'm also checking as I go to see if you could use the same screwdriver on every fastener. So far, so good. For those of you who don't know, there are different size tips. Okay, Phillips would be like this cross, you know, but there's different thicknesses. And if you go with a screwdriver that's too thick for your fastener, you can't get deep into the fastener. And this may be a little too much, but the tip of your screwdriver should go into the fastener enough where you can have a good amount of torque. If it's too thick, it won't sit deep inside the fastener, and so it'll just spin, and you'll get frustrated. So I believe I'm using a Phillips number 3, and it's working on every fastener. So once you find a screwdriver that'll fit, it should fit them all. These are not really long. Watch the plastic. You're screwing into wood, but these brackets are plastic. The way you can tell, because some of you guys and gals really strong out there, the way you know that you've tightened it up adequately, watch the plastic as your fastener begins to tighten. If the plastic swells a little bit, bulges, that's because you've applied enough force to really get in there and snug that thing down. Don't go too far, because once again, if you strip that out, you're going to be kicking yourself. You're going to be kicking yourself. Okay, it's coming together. If we go to the next page of the manual that I'm not looking at, we're going to be putting the screen in next. And then at that point, I think we're going to put in the sound bar, not the sound bar, the speaker bar, speaker support panel. And then we're going to put in the lit marquee. And then at that point, I think we'll sandwich the whole thing together, and we can start plugging things in and turning it on. And we are going to turn this thing on. We're going to plug it in. We're going to power it up. I'm going to show you the menu, some of the gameplay, because my goodness, if you've sat here this long with me, you need to at least get some gameplay out of this. And then if I do any future mods, I'm going to do separate videos on that, so I can slow down and get a little better camera angle and all that good stuff. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece we've been working on, the side piece, and we're going to, once again, you don't want to damage your artwork. Okay, we're going to rotate it like this. We don't want to damage the artwork, so make sure that you're putting this on carpet or somewhere clean, dry, soft surface. Maybe a blanket, a towel, whatever. And the next step is going to be to take our monitor that now has crap on it, and we're gonna actually set this guy in place just like this. There is a routed groove inside the panel. You can see it's like a slot. You see this black part? There's a wooden slot here. Yeah, you can see that pretty good. It's recessed, and you're going to actually just put that bad boy in there like that. Holes are pre-drilled. So what we'll do now is we'll sink some screws and line that thing up. Looks like you're going to use the same screws you used to fasten these brackets to the panel. You're going to use those to fasten it here. What'd you say? Careful now if you spoil us too much. I know. You kidding me? You're the one spoiling me. Sitting here watching this. I don't know if this is boring. I mean, sometimes it's, it's sort of calming at times to watch someone just kind of work. And I'm not trying to, if I can do something else to make this a little more enjoyable, let me know. But there's only so much you can do when you're one person. I'm trying to make this, I want you to be able to see everything too. And really just get a good idea of how long this is going to take you. If you decide to go buy one of these cabinets, this is how long it's going to take. You know, we're an hour and a half now. So that 1 hour thing, I don't think that's realistic at all. I don't think that's realistic. Maybe, I mean, yeah, it could be done, but it's not going to be done easily. You know, it's surely not for a novice. So, okay, so now moving on. Yes, we're going to use that other angle bracket, and we've got dowels to put in our lit marquee and our speaker panel. There we go. I'll slide you over just a little bit. Once again, make sure there's nothing under there that's going to scratch that. If you slide it on that surface, that's just not going to be good. This looks like this is going to be, I think, and here's where this glue is really going to come into play. It looks like, yeah, this panel, the speaker panel, is only going to be held in with these dowels. So a little bit of glue is just a little bit, you know, a little bit extra insurance for you. Interaction always rules. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Take panel here. Yeah, these speakers are really tiny. Arcade speakers are 4 inches. This doesn't look like a 4-inch speaker. Looks like a smaller speaker, like maybe a 3-inch. Small driver. We're going to have, it's going to have 6 dowels total. So 2 on each end and then 2 right here. I don't have enough dowels. Put it there. I need more hands. I got to have more hands. Put that in there. A little over an hour and a half. So I think I'm gonna say 2 hours is something you could set aside. You could have a couple beers ready to go, and just you could do this at your own pace. No need to kill yourself. And that's I think that's reasonable. Couple hours hanging out, putting it together. Looks like, okay, I'm I may be a dowel short. A day late, a dowel short. So they have a spare parts kit that has an extra one. But that's yeah, there's something to be aware of. And then one of these dowels is kind of thin. So oh dear God, what I don't even know what I said. Who knows? Who knows? That's applicable to anything. Now you got me thinking, what did I say? What did I say? Lube it up. Hole's a little too big. What? I don't know what it says. Okay, so we'll put this. Let's put this guy right here. Oh no, here's the other dowel. Okay, so no, that's right. That was out of the spare parts kit, I think. No, it wasn't. Good. I'm good. I have all the dowels. The dowels. I hope you're not saying that. I really hope not. Okay, on this piece, you've got 3 holes on the side. That's what she said. You got 2 dowels here, and then 1 spot for the screw. And it does have a little slot here where one of these top panels are going to slide into. So, and of course, it's kind of hard to mess this up because if you can read it, it's right side up. Duh. It's kind of a no-brainer, right? We're coming to the home stretch. Coming to the home stretch, kids. Coming to the home stretch. I almost want to crack this open and see. This is I like this. This is like a plastic shell that I'm sure has a transparent front, and then they just slid it on a piece of MDF. Probably the same board that they use to make a stock marquee. And curious what kind of LED panel they have in there. Probably just a single strip. Single strip. All right, we got 2 more of these. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed a question, Mike. My bad, bro. Do you always use regular screwdrivers instead of a drill with this screw bit? In this application, yes, Mike, because of what we're doing. Half of these screws I'm using are going into wood, and this is not. We're not going into oak here. We're going into like MDF, which is medium density fiberboard, and it's easy to strip out. It really is. So that's why I use a screwdriver on this, because it's not going to be forgiving. If you've got the torque setting a little too high on your screw gun, if you have a torque setting, some of them don't. But if you've got a torque setting and it's set a little too high, you're going to damage it, and it's just going to be really, really frustrating. You're not going to be happy because there's really no way to fix that other than going with like a bigger screw if you can, you know. Okay, so so now we got our dowels in there. I've got to put this guy. We're going to take this last bracket, just like what we used on the monitor. Got to run that in there. Take our C screws. That's another thing, there's really not that many different types of screws in this kit, which is refreshing. Having the sub panels pre-assembled, like the speaker sub panel, is nice. Having the LCD monitor sub panel all pre-assembled is also nice. This might be a challenge. Once we put these 2 together, I'm going to have to run. Well, I don't know. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So now we got to put these 2 pieces together. Trying to show you this. So these 2 dowels on the speaker panel will fit into the marquee panel. So that locates that, right? So then you got 2 screws there, right there. So I'm going to hold this like this. Don't want to glue that. I don't want to glue that in case I have an issue with the marquee. I want to be able to separate these two panels. If I have an issue with the marquee, I can replace that. If I've got an issue with the speaker panel, I can replace that too. Which the panel shouldn't be a problem. It's just the speakers, they're screwed to the panel. But I was toying with the idea of putting some wood glue on those, putting some wood glue on the dowels that connect the speaker panel to the marquee panel. But I don't think that's a good idea. I'd hate to have to pry that apart. I'm having trouble now with this alignment. See, I thought this might be an issue coming in here with this big junction here and lining up and being able to get a screw in there. That's frustrating. I have a multi screwdriver, so I'm waiting for this one. So the shaft on the screwdriver is too big. It's too thick to kind of get around that. So let me see. I'm gonna loosen this screw just a little bit, so I can maybe slide this bracket some. We'll see if we can line that up that way. See, I'm such an odd angle. Let's try it like that. There you go. There you go. So go above it. Don't go to the side. Go above it. And then you can drive that in. And then go until I feel good tension. Call that good. Call that good. Dowels for days. That's right. Yeah. Almost though. Almost done with the dowels. The dowels for days. At this point, I'm also going to undo the little wire tie for the lip marquee so I can get all the slack out. So now this is our pre-assembled kit here. Our panel has now become a sub panel. Okay, so this will sit here like that. No, it won't, because we're going to actually install it now. Okay, cool. Let's take this, leave these wires up like this, and we're going to, all these 4 dowels, these 4 dowels now we're going to locate into the holes that are in. There we go, just like that. Oh, nice. Okay, that fits pretty good, actually. The speaker panel is beveled. It's got a bevel on it, which matches the angle of the monitor panel there too. So I'm going to put those wires there. I think I'm about to have a piece that goes in here. Yep, the H panel right here. Okay, white side is going to go in, and all our disclaimers are going to be visible up top. That is going to, yeah, it's going to kind of slot into the marquee, and then a slot into the base there. So that's going to lock that in. So by the time we sandwich the top, it's going to really lock everything tight together. And that is the next piece. All right, everybody ready for this? We've come to that part of the show. I'm going to gently place this, and I'm going to start working my way around, getting all these dowels to line up. Once we get one, the other should just sort of fall into place. There's a lot of dowels, a lot of little things to line up. There. And you might have to tweak each panel just a little bit to get it all to line up. And it's tough to see. It's a great way to start your morning, isn't it, kids? Watching some guy flail around on the ground. While I've got it here, let me go ahead and thread locker. Put a couple of these screws in place. Not going to torque the heck out of it yet. Just get it in there to keep it from pulling out. We can begin to work one direction and move our way around. I knew it. I knew that was coming. from my sister-in-law. She keeps trying to make Christmas. Oh, geez. I bet it is exhausting. Yep. Got to get a Tremask. It's coming together, isn't it, man? Yeah, TDS doesn't make anything any better. I mean, especially if the way this whole election's about to go, those people that can't stand the guy should be happy. He's gone. He's going to be gone. So my question is, what are you going to complain about next? You know? I better not say that too loud or they'll find something. They'll find something for sure. I don't know. And then again, some people just don't want to be happy either. So, okay, that moved. That fell in together nice. Just put them in one at a time. Going to snug them up. Did you say she was an in-law? Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's an in-law. Well, that's even worse, man, because ain't nothing you can do about it. At least if it was your sister, you could probably give her a little piece of your mind and she'll get over it and go on about your day. But in-law, man, you got to just sit there and just take it. It ain't no fun, but that's what you got to do. Okay. I think I can probably maybe cinch these down a little tighter, and hopefully that will help draw that together. Now, there's nothing that goes into the, there's no bolts that go all the way through into the monitor panel. You're just going to use those small screws that attach those L brackets, which is maybe a little odd. I figured you want a little extra strength into that monitor panel, but I guess that's not necessary, huh? What's hanging up here? Oh, I see. That's going to have to get up. That's the first thing. It's a little bit off. Oh, there we go. Working on it, kids. Working on it. Okay, that feels pretty good. And this is... Oh, okay. It was really just that flat panel that was kind of hanging everything up. And don't beat on it. I know you're going to have, your tendency is going to be, well, let me just smack it. You want everything to line up and fall into place. You know what I mean? You really don't want to smash something. Like this top panel's pretty thin. You got electronics up here. You don't want to damage that lip marquee too. That thing is really nice. Being careful not to scratch the artwork. I opened up the video talking about all the games I have, and man, probably my absolute favorite is Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I had it on Dreamcast back in the day. I got it for PS2 now. If you try to get it on Dreamcast, which is the best, it's the most accurate arcade port. I talked about this before. I've got the original one on Dreamcast, and those are, the Dreamcast just had all the horsepower. Everything else is PS1, and it was fine, but the best ports were on Dreamcast. They just had the best by far. And I played that, man, for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Yes, they will always complain. All your breathing. What, you got to survive? I'm going to... So if you're in here and it's dark... turn your little light on, like so. I know this is riveting live streaming at its finest here. Make sure that that's where it needs to be. I feel like a car mechanic. Well, there's your problem. That's on that one. The holes are slightly off for, I'll leave these up here. The holes are slightly off for the brackets that hold the monitor to the side panel. Come on. It's not terrible, but it's a little frustrating. There it goes. Okay, so that's tight. That one is 2. Now, the hardest part is going to be, well, I don't know if this is the hard part, getting up inside here, and I'll move this over a little more. No, this way. Getting up inside there to get those last 2 is going to be a little tight. So bear with me. I promise we are almost done. We really are. Everything else is just panels that slide in place. And then it's going to be time to plug this thing in. Time to plug this thing in. These holes are pretty good, I think. Let's see what we got. Yeah, this is really frustrating. This is where I wish I didn't have my rule about using a drill. So what happens is you have one is in perfect alignment, so I can get one screw in, no problem. But then there's that second one. You know, it's just a little bit off. It's not the end of the world, but when you're dealing in a super tight, cramped corner like this, and you have to have this piece in place. You can't just leave this off. If you could leave this off to get back here, that'd be awesome. But that has to be in place. So there it goes. I got it. Okay. Good. Sweet. So that's done. That is done. Okay. All right. Next up. Here we go. Here we go. Riveting, I'm sure. Okay, now we've got that side done. Okay, that's screw. Okay, now we're going to stand this up, and I've got the one screw that I wasn't able to get. Got that one. Where was it? Oh, right here. The screw up top. And you can see we're in the home stretch, kids. We're in the home stretch. Like tight. This is going into the marquee and like butter. All right. And these should all be tight. Should be good. Starting to take shape here. Let's see what next. Our logo panel is going to go in next. There are slots in the side. Just want it to go down fairly level. Don't get it cocked. Just like that. Nice. And then our J panel is going to slide in with the black melamine facing out. Also slotted. Just like that. There we go. And I believe our control panel should be next. And then what I'll do is, they say peel that off. Then you put your control panel in. Okay. I have to make a connection with the control panel. Oh man, y'all are jumping on me. Here we go. When all else fails, just wait. It's expensive though, Will. If I get too aggressive, I'll be in trouble. Okay, so you got a little bit of tape. It should just come off fairly easily. Just don't pull too hard. It's a delicate, not a super delicate, but it's a ribbon cable. And that's going to connect your control panel. You've also got your Wi-Fi antenna there. It's got a little bit of tape. You can leave that tape there. That's fine. There's nothing to do there. You do have some connections back here. This is your speaker light. Yeah, these are your speakers. So this is your audio connection. And I know you probably can't see, but on the back lower left, there's a symbol of like a speaker. So you're going to plug it into there. 3.5 millimeter head jack. We're going to use this. I believe this is the adapter, the power adapter. Because we need a Y splitter because we're going to have two things that require power. So this is going to go into the lit marquee and that fits. And so this should go up top. There is a symbol of a light bulb up there. Just plug that in. There should be an adapter because there's not an adapter. And then this, what is that? We'll get to that in a second. Okay. Now we'll spin this around. Let's take our control deck over here. And we're going to make our connection, a ribbon cable connection on the back. Plug that in before you set this guy in place. It's a little difficult. Not terrible, but you got to line it up a little bit. You should. Okay. There you go. And when you, the cable should point towards the rear of the deck. Power cable for the lit deck protector. I need to go ahead and take this little wire tie off so we have all the slack hanging down. Okay, good. Set this bad boy in place. Oh, this is looking good. It's looking good. Okay. This is okay. You're also going to be going into metal threads, so we'll get some Loctite ready on some of those bolts. That fits in there pretty nice. Deck protector. We need to go ahead and peel the plastic protector off of it. On the back side. Okay, it's on this side. The film is not on top, it's on the back. It's kind of weird. But, let's see. Oh, no, it's on the front too. It is on the front too. So it's going to look kind of milky. Once again, like with your fingernail, don't use anything sharp. Once you get it started, pull it off. A little staticky. Let's lay that on top. It does kind of insert under this black bar just a little bit, so kind of feed it in that way. Get it lined up. Let's get our 4 remaining screws. A little bit of Loctite. Now, I do want to stress that you need to be careful when you tighten this up. Because we're all big, strong men, it is possible to tighten this up so much that you crack this Lexan. I've got some nasty cracks on my Ninja Turtles cabinet because I did that. It'll piss you off. You're like, oh, because you're going to see that, you know? You're going to see it. So once again, we're just going to go snug. It sits on there. It sits inside. So it's not, and you're going to be pressing down, so it doesn't need to be super tight. It's not like we're trying to hang this on the wall, the control panel. So just run them in. The Loctite's going to help, or the thread locker's going to help. Just snug. Just snug. The thread locker is going to help keep it nice and solid. The control panel is like a unit, so it's not going to come apart on you if these are kind of loose. I'm not saying loose, I'm just saying snug. That's it. You see, I'm not bearing down on it like I was on the sidebars or the side panels. I just don't want to crack that. Finger tight. Just snug. That's all you want. I still have an order into Arcade1up to try to get the ones replaced on my Ninja Turtles cabinet. They still have not stocked the item. So these little covers are going to go over your post. After you get the screen, the deck protector on, put these on. It just covers up the big gaping hole. All right, and then take your bat tops out of the box, or out of the bag, I should say. These are going to be changed. I'm glad they went with bat tops instead of just the balls, but I'm probably going to change, maybe black is fine, but maybe a different color. I've got translucent ones on my TMNT cabinet, and they look better. So maybe a blue and a red for player 1, player 2. Not a big deal. I'm also going to look at changing out these sticks to something a little more sturdy. But for now, this is fine. Gotta love that sound. All right, let's spin it around. Now we're going to start making all of our power connections. I'm really trying to tell you what. Does that help? It's a little bright, but I think it's going to help out. I hope so anyway. Okay, so you see our speaker connector. It's no big deal. I plugged in the 3-way or the splitter because I know we're going to have power to the marquee and our deck protector. So that's done. And this is our power connector. And at this point, I'm feeling confident. I'm not even looking at the instructions. Yeah, it's just all the same stuff I told you. But it gives it a pretty good... Man, you can't... Good Lord, it's bright. Let me turn that off. That's too much. Too much power. But you can see they're telling you the same thing I'm telling you. I mean, if you're going to listen, it's good. It's a good instruction manual. Once again, you have pictures of all the items you're going to need up top. So it's good. That's good. My advice to you would be definitely use the instruction manual. Okay, so the last piece we have is going to be our back piece. So let's make this power connection, which is right there. That's your power coming in, your incoming power is right there. And it does have a different symbol. It's got the lightning bolt symbol, and this is the light bulb signal. So you understand you're not going to be putting something in the wrong connector. But this connector, the power cord, is actually bigger than that one, so you really can't mess it up. All right, you plug that in, and now what you're going to have is a little grommet. It's going to prevent this from being pulled out all the way. I'll show you how we install that in just a second. Okay, we're at this point now. So let's take this. This is sort of a grab point where you can take your finger and pull this thing out. But down here, that's actually where this grommet goes in. So what you're going to have, press that in. You're going to have just this much of a cord hanging out of the back of your Arcade1up. There's a slot on the bottom. Remember at the very beginning, that was one thing we did. We made sure that slot was sticking up. Looks like we've got, there's a hole right there for a screw. And we need E, which is, I think it's just a small bag by itself. Yep, E has 3 screws in it, which is exactly what we need to finish up this part of the install here. And yep, 1 screwdriver is going to do the whole thing. These 4 holes here are going to be for those cable attachments that connect to the wall. If you're trying to be, I'm sure that's some kind of, well, you can see on top, they've got they've got these warning labels. Don't let your children hang on to the top and pull it down. So that's why they have those connection points. I'm not going to do that. I have no small children, so I'm good. But it's something you might want to consider. And now is the moment of truth, kids. So let's stack all these pieces. What we have left is this is the actual AC connector you're going to have, or the AC adapter. So this is where it's going to plug into the cabinet. This is going to plug into the wall. Obviously, based on your region, that will be different. But in the States, this is what we have. I'm going to get that ready here. Okay, so how much does it weigh? These weigh about 40 pounds. So here's that. All right. Everything's nice and sturdy. We have our riser right there. Take this guy, pick him up, and set him in your riser. Just like that. And now we're at the point we get to raise the camera. There we go. And you can see that I'm 6'1", and this is not a bad height. It's slightly low, but not terrible. It's really not. It's really not bad. Without the riser, though, you can see this is just useless. This thing would be absolutely useless without it. And the stool, let's try the stool out. It's a good height also. Yeah, that's good. All this makes sense. Heights are good. The stool's pretty comfortable. I got my doubts on the material on it. It seems to me like it's a little cheap. You see my face. It does look a little cheap, or feel a little cheap, to where maybe that is going to crack over time. But it's not the end of the world. It's not that important. That's not what we came here for. All right. That's what we came here for. Everybody ready? Got this? Before I get into this, let me go through some of the comments real quick. I'm not neglecting anybody. I still have a Dreamcast, Mike. The Dreamcast is probably Sega's best console. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was ahead of its time. Sadly, didn't have a DVD drive. No game console at all, ever, just PC. Well, you can't really go wrong with that. Fox doing cabinet builds is better than those PC builds. Yeah, exactly. I enjoy these. I mean, and these are really just kits you're putting together, so it's not as frustrating. Oh yeah, Cavill. He's a cool dude, man. I like that guy. I mean, of all the guys to be arrogant, Hollywood elitist, he would be one of them for sure. But I'll tell you what, let me just go up here. Make sure I got it. All right. Get up inside this. I've been doing that all morning, man. You've been getting me almost done. That's what you said. And the hits just keep on coming. Oh boy. See, here where we go. Now we're going off the rails. Thanks, man. No, it's what's up? That's Steven. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. Yeah, we are having fun. I could curl 40 dumbbells for breakfast. 40 pounds? It's not bad. It's not bad. Oh, it's a good point, Will. It's a good point. Aim for the left ear. It's also Introvert TV. What's up? How you doing? PS4 Pro, PC. Is that Game Gear? Game Gear? Somebody have a Game Gear somewhere? I like Game Gear. Once again, ahead of its time. Beat Nintendo. Nintendo they had the software. Nobody could compete with Nintendo software. Listen, man, I got one of those. That was the first one I bought. I was just telling them, I don't know if you did this. When you put your control panel together, you got this Lexan here, this deck protector. I went too hard, and I cracked it. So all 4 of my screws on my Ninja Turtle cabinet's cracked. So I was just saying, be nice and gentle when you put that. Just snug. You don't want it super tight. Okay, now this is it. This is it. Who's ready to see this thing? All right, I'm gonna let's leave the lid on for now. Turn it on. Here we go. Hopefully it didn't break. Marquee is lit. Loading screen right now. Oh, I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this thing forever. Here we go. So the screen looks good. Enjoy the Wi-Fi. Ask me later. I'll set up the Wi-Fi later. So this is your home screen? See, this is weak here. This is your main screen, your main menu? And you got the leaderboards here. Huh. This is weak. I wish they had a different. I'll dig into the settings, let you know. But this is a little weak. Let me kill this. I don't know if that helps. There's a button on this deck protector light. Let's check it out. Oh, that's nice. And you should be able to scroll through. Yeah, different colors. So we had red, green, blue, yellow, I guess. Purple, like a teal color.
That's cold, Bob.
Oh, Wolverine's telling me to hurry up. Oh, so see, if you wait too long, it automatically kicks you into a game. Okay. And then press that to continue. There's little stickers on these buttons. The blue and red, you got A and B, so that must correspond to something. I think if you hold the...
I reject your presence.
Do you want to leave? And push the punch button, okay. X-Men versus Street Fighter. Okay, so you got Marvel vs. Capcom, X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes, and then you got this game, which is like an NES game. I don't know why that's on here. Let's do a little bit of Marvel vs. Capcom. I want to see the intro, though. Yeah, okay, so local game or online.
That's cold, Bob.
I'm going to go local. This is just giving you your, okay, this is obviously your volume. Power? The power isn't, well, that's just for there, but I mean, how do you get back to the main menu? I think you just, well, what I did is I just held down player 1. And it did it, so I like the blue. Let's go with the blue light. All right, a little bit of gameplay. I'm sorry, I know y'all can't see this. Yeah, this looks bad. We won't do this too much longer. Reminds me of a Twitch. Okay, hit that to continue or to start the game. If you just hit the punch button, it should. Animated violence mild. Was that on the original game? I can't remember.
Capcom presents.
Alright, let's get it. We'll go with Ryu and Wolverine. Let's go easy mode. If you pick easy, the super is easier to do.
Ready. Fight!
Oh, I missed. Oh, I missed again. I hate Strider. Let's see Ryu back here. So your strong punch and strong kick will allow you to attack somebody even now. Yes, got him. Yes! Nice.
You
Awesome.
win.
また戦ってくれ。
Okay, so that's it. So, yeah. So, what do you think? What do you think? I mean, it's nice. The marquee looks good. I like the deck protector lighting. That looks really good. I mean, it really lights up the whole thing. I don't know that I'm going to use that a ton, but I mean, it just adds a little bit extra bling. The screen looks awesome. The gameplay is just like it should. The controls are good. I don't mind them. I don't mind them at all. The buttons are not terrible. The decks, the control decks have never been big enough for me. But when you're trying to get it on this tight form factor, I understand. But anyway, anybody else got any final thoughts? Any questions? Oh, how much did it cost? Yeah, Will. Try to use my mouse over here. There you go. Yeah, so it is $500. Like Arch Demi Dragon said, $500. This was a exclusive with Best Buy. It came with the stool. It came with the lip marquee. If you get the other version, it's funny. It's not. You can't even get a different configuration of the Marvel versus Capcom. You can only get it in this configuration. The other model that's cheaper is X-Men versus Street Fighter. And I don't believe you get Marvel versus Capcom. There's a game you don't get. I can't remember which one it was. But you get 4 games instead of 5. So that's one of the big things. You don't get the stool. You don't get the lip marquee. If you want to add that stuff, you can through the aftermarket, but that's kind of expensive. It's $5. No, it's a little bit more than that. Before that. Yes, man, I'm telling you, I love these games. And you got the leaderboards there. Your high score you can keep, and it will retain that. Even if you power down, it's still going to keep that. I love these games. Love these games. The only thing that would have made this a perfect cabinet for me was if you had Alien versus Predator. I actually made a cabinet myself using a Pandora's box, and it is Alien versus Predator themed. It's on my channel. I just did an update video where I made a riser for it. It started life out as a bar top, and then I made a riser for it to get it up to the same height as the Arcade1up, so that they all are the same height in my game room. AFK 3 minutes. Let's see, but this is sweet. If we were never, you bet you'd be over here all the time, and then we would have like little tables where we could put our beers and we could just game, dude. We could game like crazy. I would love it. I think that's it. So where are we at? 2 hours and 18 minutes. I think, yeah, realistically, if you want to take your time, especially if you've never put one together before, 2 hours is what you can count on. It goes together pretty easy. I did just use the screwdriver, the one screwdriver. I do recommend the wood glue and the thread locker just to make sure things stay tight. But other than that, I'm really, really happy. The only thing, I just wish that, like I said, I wish it didn't have, instead of that one game, Alien vs. Predator would make this the perfect cabinet. And I'd probably have another one I would just keep in the box and never open because it would just be perfection. But no, all in all, I really, really, really like this. This is awesome. This is what, if you're a fighting game fan, this is what you want. There's other arcade machines out there. Buy Arcade1up. They have a Marvel Superheroes version, and it just has 3 games. This is what you want. You get your Capcom, you get your Marvel, you get all the fun stuff with Wolverine. You get those combos with Ryu and Cyclops, beaming each other. This is in my mind, if you're a fan of the genre, if you like these games, this is well worth the price tag. And just to give you kind of an example of, if you wanted to go a different route and get these games, if you wanted to get PS1 versions of these games, not including the Super NES game, but just to get the 4 games, try to find this for PS1 complete on eBay right now for less than $100. Good luck. You might luck out, but maybe you can get just the disc, and then you got to make sure you got a PS1 or PS2 that's going to play this disc. PS3 will also play PS1 disc, so you could definitely go that route, and it would be high def, so that's good. I say high def. You have the HDMI connection, but it's not going to be high def. The screen looks great. So you're looking at $500 versus about $400 just to get these 4 games. And then it's not this package, it's not this experience. So if you consider that, and it's even more if you go with the Dreamcast games, which they weren't even all available on Dreamcast. But this is a much better port. So, oh, and also, yeah, just let you. These are 2 of my gems that are in my PS1 collection. So yeah, I don't even have all 4 of these games for PS1. Anyway, so when you consider that, you're talking $400 just for PS1 versions versus $500 when you get the stool, when you get the riser, when you get the lights, when you get the whole experience. I don't think $500 is really too much to ask for this package. Now, maybe they'll go on sale, maybe they'll get a little cheaper, but I doubt it. These things seem to go by to sell out pretty quick. The special editions anyway. So, if you're going to watch this on the replay, definitely leave me some comments. If you have any questions whatsoever, if you need links for, I guess, well, I didn't really use anything. I just used a screwdriver. But if you want a link to this product, I can give you that Best Buy link. And if you have any other questions, specifics, let me know. I can do some close-up pictures for you. It's Monday afternoon now, where I am, so I'm going to go grab some lunch. You have a great day. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see y'all next time. Later.